A flashy bishop who was in the middle of delivering a live stream on Sunday, his Sunday service was being live streamed, was actually robbed at gunpoint. In fact, we have that video. Let's watch.
You about to go through. Yo. All right. All right. Yo, all right.
Everybody sit still. Nobody move. Nobody move.
So this is in Brooklyn, and the story might seem black and white, but it's not. There's a lot going on here, and I want to fill you in on the details. So what was the aftermath? Well, the intruders made off with more than $1 million in jewelry belonging to Lamor Miller-Whitehead and his 38-year-old wife. The New York City Police Department said, adding that an investigation is ongoing and no arrests were made by late Monday. I mean, it was live streamed. Okay. Now here's what was robbed or what was taken from the couple. They took his watch, Bishop's ring, and wedding band, he said. Feeling that Miller-Whitehead had chains under his shirt, one of the men ripped my collar off just to get to my jewelry, he said. Miller-Whitehead said he felt he was in danger and it would have been a bad situation if he had resisted. And I agree with him on that. There is a crime wave. There's a lot of follow home robberies and things like that in Los Angeles, for instance. Just give them what they want. Don't risk your life over material possessions, even if those material possessions have sentimental value to them. Now, later, Bishop addressed the robbery on Instagram as an example of how the devil moves, because this is the devil at play, okay? There aren't any other issues here. It's Satan. I felt the demonic force. I felt it push through the door, he said. Now, why was he targeted? He's an avid user of the gram. He's on Instagram and he's a little flashy, to say the least. His Instagram does detail his extravagant shows of wealth, including Louis Vuitton emblazoned suits, large jewelry, and flashy cars. Okay, so look, some people are almost like not justifying, but it's like, well, I mean, you're flashing your wealth, and so what do you expect kind of situation, where I partly agree with be careful and don't do that because you're making yourself a target. But at the same time, it does rub me the wrong way because it seems like you're justifying what happened, or you're placing some of the blame on the victim in this case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. You never want to victim blame, but at the same time, this guy is born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I think he has a pretty good sense of what the culture is like, especially with the stick-up culture and the scamming culture. The idea that you would be on the gram posting jewelry allegedly worth millions of dollars, and you broadcast where you're gonna be, meaning like there will be $1 million functionally in cash
right
at this place at this time. All of the hungriest people in Brooklyn, New York, just in case you wanted to know. I'm just saying this isn't exactly evasive tactics here, Anna. That being said, I'm not convinced this isn't insurance fraud. I grew up in Brooklyn, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna convince me this is not a scam, and especially these guys of the cloth. Like, I actually pulled double duty on TYT today. I was on Damage Report with John earlier, and I was like, look, I'm not saying that if you're a man of the cloth, a man of God or whatever, a preacher, you should have no material possessions. But like, if you had like 8 kids, yeah, maybe you should have a house with like 8 bedrooms or whatever, right? Like, and you should have a mansion and all of this kind of stuff. And you probably do need an SUV with extra seating rows and all of that. But tell me the need for $1 million in jewelry.
No,
from a guy who is allegedly serving God's people. It's ridiculous.
No, I largely agree with you on that, right? Like, as a connoisseur of pretty dainty jewelry, like I don't understand. I don't really understand the need for that bling, right? But But look, it is what it is. Some people like that stuff. Some people will buy that stuff. I also think, and this is like the superstitious part of me, you could judge me if you want, because I'm obviously not religious or whatever, but I am a believer in what's commonly referred to as the evil eye, right? So I'm not a very flashy person because I firmly believe that when you're constantly bragging about your successes or how well you're doing financially, there's always gonna be people who are like, they're gonna be giving you that evil eye, bad juju, bad juju. And you just don't want to invite bad juju, keep the juju away.
Yeah, I agree. And especially in the tough times that we are in, this idea, I'm not saying you don't deserve to have your stuff, but like we gotta acknowledge reality too, right? It's like, there's a starving dog on the floor. Should I really be eating a steak right next to him? I don't know that I should. Sure, I bought the steak, I deserve to eat it, but like there's a dog who is frothing at the mouth right next to me. Maybe I should wait a little bit before I, start having this boneless ribeye.
I mean, boneless ribeye, it's a pretty big steak. Like, give the dog a little bit of that steak. I know I would.
Break him off a piece. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Now, he has pushed back on criticism regarding his flashiness and that it allegedly invited the robbery, saying that shootings have taken place at Brooklyn churches whose pastors were not flashy. Let's not be naive to the fact that the devil is real, Miller-Whitehead said. Like, he's not even trying to make a point about the crime wave or anything like that. He's like, no, it's the devil, obvious.
It's the devil. And also just a fun tidbit for hip hop fans out there who happen to be as washed as me. This guy is actually related, a cousin of rapper Foxy Brown, one of my favorite rappers of all time. Yeah, so Foxy Brown is this dude's cousin.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. I thought you were gonna bring up the fact that he had a rap career.
I wouldn't be surprised if this dude was a rapper at one time. I mean, like,
sure.
You're taking selfies in your gram from a Rolls-Royce with tacky all over print Gucci and Louis. Like, come on, man. That's rapper behavior to a T.
True. He also has a criminal history of his own, so maybe that's why he doesn't want to really focus on.
And we believe in redemption on TY2.
No, we do. And look, he got convicted. He did his time. He seems to have redeemed himself, unless there is some insurance fraud here, which I hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
And he had been convicted of like identity theft and stuff like that. So those kinds of scams are in his history.
Yep.
So who knows?
Yeah, just the quickness with which he fell to the ground, and I don't know. I don't know. I was just saying, I don't know. I got my third eye open on that one.
Yeah, that's smart. I would probably do that. I'd have my third eye open on that as well. Hopefully, it's being investigated.